Hello. Welcome to Talk Photo to Me. I'm Maddie Roberts. Let's get into what we need to talk about. Okay, first things first. I recorded my intro, my first episode, without a mic. And guess what? I thought the mic that I had was working the whole time. Turns out that was just my camera. And this microphone wasn't picking up nothing. So I apologize. You know, we're a beginning podcast. We're starting from ground zero, and there's really nowhere else to go but up from here. Deepest apologies for the poor quality on that. But there's my statement. We're moving on. Okay. Welcome. I'm so glad you're here. Let's get to talking about photos. The topic I want to talk about today is TFPs. Trade for photos, trade for product. Yeah. I don't know if you've ever heard of those before. If you have, great. If you haven't, it is what it is. It's trade for product. It's very popular in the photography world. A lot of the times models ask for it. A lot of photographers ask for it. That's kind of the two that I see the most. If there's any other ways, I'm sorry if I didn't say it, but that's what I see the most. And that's kind of what involves me, I guess, in my opinions towards it. So what do we think about TFPs? I have a lot of opinions on them. Okay. I do value TFPs. I know it's a very kind of controversial thing to talk about in the photography world. I do value them. I think there's a place for them. So if you're out there and you're a model or a photographer asking for TFPs or accepting TFPs, that's totally fine. As you should. You do what you do, boo. Like, no worries. I'm just going to talk about experiences that I've had about TFPs and kind of my stances on them. So I think if you're a new photographer and you need to work on your portfolio, or you have like a technique that you want to work on, whether you're new or not new, but you have a technique that you haven't tried yet and you want to work on, trade for product with that, I think is beneficial. Whether like you can network with TFPs, you can make new friends with TFPs. Like, even if you just want to do something crazy and fun, offering up a TFP is a great way to go. I have no problems with that at all. And I think that's smart. And I've met a lot of really great people because of TFPs. I think there's a place for TFPs. I do, however, feel like there are some people in the world who take advantage of TFPs. And, you know, how do we go about deciding whether it's worth it or not, to be honest with you? So I can only speak as a photographer. I know that there are models out there that ask a lot for TFPs, and I wish I had one with me today, but I can only speak on the photographer side of things. I feel like I kind of understand the model side of things, which I'll talk about, but as a photographer, that's where I'm going to talk about. Okay, so I would say 90% of my inboxes, messages, direct messages, are people asking for TFPs. They're asking for collaboration. They're asking for trade. And that is totally fine. You're allowed to ask. Please continue to ask. I just feel like sometimes it's hard to receive so many messages like that when this is your business. I'm just going to say it. Like, it's hard to get messages like that when you are a freelance full-time photographer trying to pay the bills, trying to make a living, and trying to be successful in your craft. And you can't really be successful and a a freelance business owner if you're doing trade for photos all the time. It can't happen. Like, it won't work. It at that point, you could be the best photographer in the world, but you can't run a business with no money. It's just, I don't know what to say. That's business. So it becomes a really hard and conflicting and uncomfortable scenario to be put into when all you get is people being like, hey, I love your work. It's absolutely stunning. Please, 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 would love to collaborate with you sometime. I would drop my model fee for you. I would take care of the studio fee if you want to trade. I'll shout you out on my social media. That's just, a shout out does not equivalent my income, And granted, like, as a business owner, as a photographer, you're allowed to choose whether you say yes or no to these things, right? Like, if you feel like there's a benefit of working with this model who only wants to collaborate, right? Then you're allowed to say yes, but you're also allowed to not say yes to everyone. There are huge influencers that can message you with huge followings who can tell you that they'll shout you out, that they'll recommend you and everything like that. And if you look at that and you say that that's your target audience and that's who you want to work with, I would consider that a valuable and worthy I hate that. I hate that I said that, but like, that would be a instance as to when I would say yes to a TFP shoot. They would tell their friends, tell their followers about me, and I would get that traction, and I would then see hopefully some bookings from that. But this is going to sound really harsh, and I'm not trying to make it sound harsh, but if somebody comes to me with like 1,000 followers, and says, hey, I'll give you a shout out, can you trade? And they're not in my target audience. Like, my target audience is portraits. So say they're a family influencer and they say, I will recommend you to all my friends. That doesn't necessarily speak to me because that, one, doesn't reach my target audience, and two, they don't have that big of an audience. They're going to grow, and I'm sure they're going to get to where they can be a big influence and stuff like that. But at that time, getting paid my normal rates is more valuable than their shout out. This is all really uncomfortable to talk about, and I'm not trying to step on any toes, please. This is all coming from just me being a photographer. But I hope that it's making sense, that it puts me and photographers just in a really tricky situation, right? Because I don't want anyone to ever feel like they're not worthy of my time, or that I'll work with one person and not them. Like, that's never the case, at least for me. I can't speak on every photographer in the world, but for me, it puts me in a really uncomfortable situation, because my biggest thing is I need people to know that I think everyone's worth having a Vogue ready photo shoot, right? Like, I'm so determined and convinced that everyone is beautiful and I can make them see it. But you gotta let that passion and love and your business kind of, like, where's the line there? So yeah, I get a lot of messages like that. I do. I really do. I get a lot of messages of people asking me to trade, and I say yes to the ones that I think will benefit me in my business and will benefit me as a photographer. And it's never anything personal. Absolutely not. It's, at this time, I'm not looking for collaborations or trades or anything like that. Or if it's somebody that I've always wanted to work with, then I say yes and stuff like that. And that's the great thing about being a business owner, is that you get to make the decision of what is what. And this is business. It is nothing personal. And if people take it personally, that should reflect more on them and not you. So I'm talking to you photographers out there. Talking to you guys. Look me in my eyeballs. Or listen to me with your ears. You're allowed to make choices that benefit yourself. You don't have to please the masses. If there is somebody asking for trade and you do not feel like what they're asking for is an even trade, you're allowed to say no. And you're not responsible for how they take it. Obviously, be polite and be kind and say, hey, I'm not looking to trade right now. I'm not looking to collab right now, but here are my prices. Would love to work with you if you want to book a session with me. Yada, yada, yada. You know, like there's a way to be professional. And I think that's what we should be. As professionals, we should be professional. Maybe there's somebody that has the look that just inspires you for a photo shoot. And it doesn't even matter how many followers they have, really. Like, it could be a model that just has a unique look that just inspires a unique photo shoot for you. And you can be like, yeah, that benefits me because it's something I want to showcase on my feed, or it's something that I want to put in my portfolio. Like, it's really up to you. And I know that, again, this is a hard conversation to sometimes have, but I just also need you to know that you have the power. And to all the models out there that are maybe listening to this, you guys have every right to ask. There shouldn't be any shame in typing out TFP shoot or looking for a TFP shoot. There shouldn't be any hardship there, like, at all. Or messaging photographers. You're allowed to, like, absolutely. I mean, I hope this kind of brings awareness of kind of how, if you've ever thought, like, why are photographers so weird about TFPs? Like, why? I'm a model, I have experience, like, it benefits both of us. Like, you know, if you've ever thought that, maybe just think about what I said previously. This is our job. This is how we make our livelihood. And especially as somebody like myself who's in the fashion portrait world, who works with a lot of models, how am I supposed to make my payments for my business if I just keep doing TFPs? You know? And also, okay. Safe space here. We are just speaking freely. I value so much the model and photographer world. I value so much that world. But it is really hard. And I'm not saying every single model is like this. I know tons of models that fully put themselves into this and contribute and make it an even trade. Because this at the end of the day, this is a business transaction and it should be an even trade. But a lot of the times, I have had instances where models message me asking for a TFP shoot. I say yes because I really like the concept. And then it's me booking the studios. It's me bringing my lighting equipment. It's me setting up everything. And then it's me taking 3 to 5 days to edit the photos. And the model comes and gets ready, and granted, I will say sometimes the looks are extravagant and it can take up to 3 hours to get their makeup done, and that is work. That is 100% work. They pay money to get their hair done. They pay money to get their makeup done. I don't shy away from that. That is contributing. But it's really hard when, as a studio fashion photographer, I have thousands upon thousands of dollars of equipment and gear and subscriptions in order of what I need to do to run my business. And then I spend almost weeks editing photos, and then it goes to like only like a day's work from the other participant. It in my eyes personally, I find that really hard to see the equal line there. And I would love to have somebody tell me why I'm wrong in this, or like that you disagree. Cause like, I'm not trying to belittle anybody. I'm just more speaking on the frustrations as a photographer. I'm a kind of person who really, I want things to be fair. I want things to be fair for all of us. I want you to have really good photos. And I want me as a business owner to succeed and post my work and stuff like that. I see value in that a ton, but I can't just be putting all of my stuff and all of this crazy stuff in and then not having the other person, the other partner in this kind of reciprocate the same amount of effort, you know? And again, I'm not saying that has only happened to me a couple of times. A lot of the times the models are the ones putting together the concept, getting all the props, booking the studios, like whatever. Like and they are working to make the shoot a success and to be inspiring and to be positive and to know your angles. Like they are putting in the work, and I feel like that's equal trade. And then they also tell me not to send as many photos or whatever. Like they there's effort there, and that makes it worth it to me. But sometimes people don't do that. And that's okay. But and that's, oh yeah, that is okay. It's so okay. It just makes it hard for me personally to continue to do TFPs when it just feels like I'm putting in more of the work than the other person. And this also can go for photographers too. Like there's content days that we all put together, and sometimes it's all on one photographer and another photographer isn't putting in the work. Like it's just, there's a lot that can be done to make TFPs really complicated. And I just think at the end of the day, you need to look out for you and your business. You have to look out for you and your business. If it's not benefiting you or your business, don't do it. And if it's in the middle of you doing a TFP and you're realizing this is not good for my business, suck it up, learn from it. Don't make that mistake again. I really hope I'm not stepping on anybody's toes. And I told you I was going to talk about some controversial topics. I find a lot of value in the model community, and I find a lot of value in the photographer community. But it's just, it's an interesting topic to talk about, right? Like my biggest thing is I just want to make sure everyone's treated fairly. That's my biggest thing. I just want everyone to be treated fairly. And I don't know if a lot of people realize how much effort is put into the photography part of these photo shoots. Like, I have backdrops, stands, lighting. Like, I have so much gear, like photography stands, cameras, lenses, programs I use to edit, gallery systems I pay for. Like, it's so much money. It's so much money. It's crazy. And so it's really hard to then just offer that up for free. This world is crazy, guys. This world is bonkers. And whoever says, I mean, sorry, I don't know what I was trying to say there, but like, money definitely, you can't live life without it, okay? And I can't do the creative stuff without money. I can't book studios without money. I'm not going to pay $300 for a studio for a TFP shoot, you know? Like, I don't know. It's kind of crazy. I just want to, okay. What are everybody else's thoughts on this? I obviously said a lot of things, and I want to know everybody else's mindset. I want to know how people feel about this. This is a safe space. I want to communicate. I want to talk. I want to understand other people's point of views. So if somebody has an opposing view about this, I would love to hear it. Please, please, please message me, call me, whatever. Call me, beat me if you want to reach me. Kim Possible. Anyways, let me know your thoughts. I hope this message was received well. And kind of just showcasing what we have in store for the future. Anyways, I'm Maddie Roberts. This is Talk Photo to Me, and I hope you had a good time listening. I will talk to you guys on the next one. Bye! We're done!